I'm going to start out this morning by reading a couple things. And I want y'all to decide if these are good things or not so good, or, what's your take in your opinion on these things? All right. All right. First group of things. All right. Show respect unless someone disrespects you. Would you consider that a good thing or bad thing?
Not so good.
Not so good?
Bad.
Bad? You think it's bad too? I mean, it's basically saying you show people respect, and if somebody started disrespecting you, at that point, y'all still think it's a bad thing? All right, what about this one? Don't share your troubles unless asked. That's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's bad. It can be bad.
It can be bad?
I think it can be bad too.
So you think you should burden everybody with your troubles?
No.
I don't think you should hold it in.
Yeah.
You shouldn't hold it in?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the next one? Respect others' territory. Think it's a good thing or bad thing? Good? Everybody think that's good? Don't hit on someone unless invited. What y'all think about that one?
What you mean, like a man and a woman?
Yeah, don't hit on someone unless invited. Think it's a good thing or bad thing? Huh?
Yeah, you gotta shoot your shot.
Yeah.
You gotta shoot your shot. So you should just disrespect their boundaries.
You don't have to disrespect.
All right, okay, cool. Next one. Respect others' home. Don't bother them there. Good thing or bad thing?
Depends.
Don't bother them.
Yeah, respect others' homes. Don't bother them there.
I think you should respect, but
Good or bad? Just straight answers here, huh?
Respect them everywhere.
Good or bad? Yes or no? Respect others' homes. Don't bother them there.
I say it might be bad
Why?
because we're there to help each other, and you don't want to just not bother them. You want to be there.
Interesting. Okay. Next one. If a guest is in your home annoying you, treat them ruthlessly.
Yeah, bad.
Bad? Okay. Do not harm children. Good or bad?
Good.
Good. Everybody thinks good? Cross the board, all right. Do not kill non-animal humans. Interesting the way they worded that. Do not kill non-animal humans unless attacked or for food.
That's good.
Good?
Yeah.
That's good? Everybody agree that's good? Okay. Don't take something unless it's yours or freely given.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Cross the board, all right. Acknowledge the power of magic if you use it. Don't deny it later.
What do you mean?
If you use magic, acknowledge it and don't deny the fact that you did so. It's a good thing or bad thing.
You need to tell people you did that.
Yes. Acknowledge you.
Don't complain about something you've chosen to experience. Good or bad? What y'all think?
Don't complain.
Yeah.
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 Don't complain.
Yeah. Okay.
Charm the snake you got there.
Okay. That was that 11. Here's the next 7 real quick. I'm gonna go fast. Act with compassion and empathy towards all beings. Good or bad?
Good.
Okay. Strive for justice and fairness for everyone. Good or bad?
Good.
Okay. One's body is inviolable. I'm not sure. Inviolable? I don't know. And subject only to personal will.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Respect the freedom of others, including the freedom to offend. Respect the freedoms of others, including the freedom to offend. Good or bad?
Good.
Okay. Beliefs should conform to scientific understanding. Don't distort facts. Good or bad?
Think bad.
Bad? Okay. People are fallible. Be willing to correct mistakes. Good or bad?
I don't know what that means.
Meaning they flawed. They make mistakes. All right, last one here. Compassion, wisdom, and justice should guide moral actions above all.
Say it again.
Compassion, wisdom, and judgment should guide moral actions above all.
Yes.
Good? Good. Okay. Everything I just read are known as the Satanic Commandments.
Dang.
That's a fact. Aleister Crowley, one of the high priests of the Satanic Church, has said the whole law can be summed as following. Do what thy wilt shall be the whole law. Those are the Satanic Commandments. Interesting, right? If I'd asked you before I read them what you think Satanic Commandments would be, chances are you probably would go a route of demonic things. That would be obvious, that would be polar opposite of the Most High's commandments. But see, this is where we fall short in understanding. Because over in the book of Isaiah, when Satan was cast out, cast to the ground, Satan didn't say, I'm going to be copolar opposite of the Most High. He said, I will be like the Most High. The Most High gave us commandments. Almighty Yahweh did. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The commandments. Because the commandments are one of those subjects that when you've been in the walk and in the faith for quite some time, you'll start overlooking and taking for granted and not keeping it in the forefront, keeping it on a level and a pedestal of seriousness, because it seems like it's such a babe topic. It seems like it's such an elementary thing. Majority of the things I just read, you all agreed, sounded like good things. There was a few here and there that was a little but for the most part, you didn't think they were satanic commandments. But what if I was to tell you that if Satan could convince you, deceive you, to walk just on the outside of good enough, he got you. See, he's intelligent enough to understand that he's not going to come to you. Not you. He might could do this with someone else, but not you. He's not going to come to you and say, sacrifice babies, do witchcraft, bow and worship me, declare, you know what I mean? He know you're not going to go for that because you have a heart and intention to want to serve Almighty Yahweh, right? So what does he have to do then? What is deception by definition? To deceive means to trick, right? And so if it is blatant satanic worship, what level of deception exists there? It doesn't. A person sitting in the church of Satan is not someone who is trying to deceive who he worships. He is very blunt and forward about it. Deception means trickery. And so Satan has to get you to accept something that you're willing to accept, but it ain't good enough. It's just outside the realm of what you've called to be and to do. And so we live in a world now where, whether it's via social media or self-help books, podcasts, whatever, most information that we consider to be good information are all in the realm of morality. And there's nothing bad about having good moral standards. This is a good thing. But you cannot allow the traditions and the commandments of men to become more significant in your life than the commandments of God. We know that's a direct quote from Christ talking about the scribes and Pharisees, because this is what they did. The scribes and Pharisees created commandments and requirements of the people that were all good on moral standards, but they put and trumped that over the commandments of God. And we live in a time today where all this moral talk of a good way to carry yourself, especially in the religion of Christianity. The problem is, if you're not careful, you're putting that stuff above the very things that God commanded of you. Because he was not vague in his commandments. He was very concrete and very specific. And the truth of what I'm saying lies in one simple fact. Most of the moral standards that we strive for and call good today in this day and age is really all rooted in selfishness. It's all about the self. Put myself first, take care of me, make sure I'm good, make sure it's rooted in that. And I'm going to tell you, it is good to take care of yourself. We all know this. But when that secretly creeps up into the forefront and becomes the most significant thing to you, you are missing the mark, because it is the polar opposite of what you are commanded. And we're going to try to prove that this morning. Very simply, with the word. No convincing, no persuading, no reading one little simple verse and trying to convince you that's what it's saying. No, we're going to hit it over and over and over right here in the book and let the word speak for itself. So let's get started with John chapter 14. John chapter 14, I'm going to read verse 15. These are the words of Jesus, as we know, right? If you love me, keep my commandments. These are the words of Christ. This undo the thought pattern and process that is common today of the commandments are done away with, or they're not as significant as they once were because, we're not under the law. We're not under the law, right? And this thought process of, yeah. The commandments are good. I believe in keeping them, but they're not everything. They're not the most significant and most important thing. That's deception, because it's in that thought where you start putting morality above the actual commandments. But Jesus said, if you love me, then keep my commandments. Very straightforward. And we know exactly what commandments he is talking about. Verse 16, I will pray to the Father, and he will give you another counselor, that he may be with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, for it does not see him and does not know him. You know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans. I will come to you. Yet a little while the world will not see me no more, but you will see me, because I live and you will live also. In that day, you will know that I am in my Father, you in me, and I in you. One who has my commandments and keep them, that person is the one who loves me. This is very specific. He's very specific. If you want to know if you are in the love of Christ, if you want to know if you truly are loving Christ, if you are obeying Christ, serving Christ, in Christ. We always want to talk about how we're not under the law no more. We're now in Christ. Well, there's only one way to tell if that's true or not. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. Verse 21. One who has my commandments, not just know them, one who has them and keeps them. That person is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and will reveal myself unto him. So how do we get Christ to reveal himself unto us? How do we get him to open our understanding and give us more of him, more of the Holy Spirit, more of love, more of compassion, full of salvation, closeness and oneness with Christ? It's by keeping the commandments. Revelations 22. Revelations 22, we're going to read verses 12 through 15. Very last chapter of the book. Revelations 22, verse 12. Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me to repay each man according to his work. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Blessed are those who do my commandments, for they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter into the gates into the city. Outside those gates, outside are dogs, sorcerers, the sexually immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices lies. Do you hear this? So here's the conclusion of the entire Bible. In the very last chapter, some of the very last verses, he clearly tells you, blessed are those who do, not know, not acknowledge, but live it, do it. His commandments. It didn't say those who are walking in faith. It said those who do his commandments will have rights to the tree of life and enter into the gates by the city. Everybody wants this. We all want the salvation. We all want to be in the kingdom, to enter into heaven, to hear those words, well done. Done means you did something. My good and faithful servant. How do we get that? By keeping the commandments. Matthew 5. When you notice what I'm doing on purpose here, right? Starting out, I'm over here in what they refer to as the New Testament, the words of Jesus, the book of Revelation, because when you bring up the commandments, everybody automatically want to say that's the law. No, it ain't. It's the commandments. Don't get it twisted. What I say? Matthew 5. We're going to read verse 16 through 20. All right, Matthew 5, verse 16. Words of Jesus. Even so, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Don't think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For most certainly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not even one smallest letter or any tiny pen stroke shall in any way pass away from the law until all things are accomplished. Therefore, whoever shall break one of the least commandments and teach others to do so shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever shall do and teach them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, there is no way you will enter the kingdom of heaven. Verse 21. You have heard it said by the ancient ones, you shall not murder. Is that not a commandment? Yes, it is. It's one of the 10. And whoever murders is in danger of the judgment. But I tell you that everyone who is angry with his brother without a cause will be in danger of the judgment. Whoever shall say to his brother, Raka, will be in danger of the council. Whoever say, you fool, will be in danger of hell's fire. If therefore you offer your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has anything against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go your way. In other words, don't come to me when you got something in your heart against your brother. You leave that prayer right there at that altar. And watch this. First reconcile to your brother and then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are with him on the way, lest perhaps the persecutor delivers you to the judge and the judge deliver you to the officer and you are cast into prison. Most certainly I tell you, you shall by no means get out of there until you have paid the last penny. In other words, if you got something harboring in your heart against your brother, some offense, some sin is present, y'all cannot dwell in an unclean temple. Don't you dare come to me and bring your gifts and your offers to me and you ain't reconciled with your brother yet. You first go get it right with him. This is the commandments. This is bringing it to a new level. See, there's a deception of the enemy to make you think subconsciously or consciously, depending on where you at in your walk, that Christ kind of diminished and watered down the fact that you need to keep these commandments. But the opposite is true. Christ elevated the bar higher, and there is more now that is required of you. Because under the old covenant, the commandment said you shall not murder. But under Christ, he said you bet not even have hatred in your heart. You don't murder nobody unless you first hate them. Now you got a higher standard, not a less standard, not a lower standard. Verse 27, you have heard it said, you shall not commit adultery. Is that not a commandment? But I tell you that everyone who gazes at a woman to lust after her have committed adultery already in his heart. You see, and for a man to commit adultery, he first had to lust after the woman. This is a higher standard. There is more that is required of you now. Verse 29, if your right eye cause you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members should perish than your whole body to be cast in hell. If your right hand cause you to stumble, cut it off. Throw it away from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members should perish than your whole body to be cast in hell. In other words, anything that is in the way of you striving for perfection, walking in uprightness and holiness, being committed every single second of your life and every breath to the Most High. Anything that can stand in the way of that, remove it. Because it is better for you to lose that, no matter what it is, than for your whole being to be cast into hell. And if he's using examples extreme as an eye or a hand, what about these little things that you allow to get in the way? These little offenses that you have in your heart, these little distractions that you have addictions to, whatever it may be that's keeping you, these little beliefs and perspectives. It's better for you to remove that than you receive hell judgment. 31. It was also said, whoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce. But I tell you, whoever puts away his wife except for a cause of sexual immorality makes her an adulteress. And whoever marries her when she is put away commits adultery. Again, you have heard it is said by the ancient ones, you shall not make false vows, but shall perform to Yahweh your vows. But I tell you, don't swear at all, neither by heaven or by the throne of God, nor by the earth, for it is the footstool of his feet, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shall you swear by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. But let your yes be yes, or your no be no. Whatever is more than these is of the evil one. For you have heard it said, an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, don't resist him who do evil. But whoever strikes you on your right cheek, turn the other also. For if anyone sues you to take away your coat, let him have your coat also. Whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you. Do not turn away him who desires to borrow from you. You have heard that it is said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemy. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. Pray for those who mistreat you and persecute you. For you may be children of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and send rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Don't even the tax collector do the same? If you only greet your friends, what more do you do than others? Do not even the tax collector do the same? Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. The standard has been raised. The bar is much higher now. In other words, what he was just saying there is you should allow nothing to even remotely jeopardize the chance of you stepping outside of the Father, no matter what it is. When you hear an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, Jesus said, you know what? It's better for you to just let that go and make sure you keep yourself right with the Father. He hit you on your left cheek, let him hit the right one too. Focus on serving the King and keeping yourself right with him. These commandments are significant. Let's read them. Deuteronomy 5. Deuteronomy 5, we're going to read verses 1 through 22. Moses called all of Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and the ordinance which I speak to your ears today, that you may learn them and observe to do them. Yahweh our God makes a covenant with us in Haran. Yahweh didn't make this covenant with our fathers, but with us. You hear what he said? Moses said, Yahweh made a covenant with us. This is a covenant that is important, that is significant to understand. Yahweh didn't make this covenant with our fathers, but with us. Even us who are all of us alive here today. Yahweh spake with you face to face on the mountain in the middle of the fire. I stood between Yahweh and you at the same time to show you Yahweh's words. For you were afraid because of the fire and did not go up unto the mountain, saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim. I am Yahweh your God. We know this book talks about, and this commandment's going to talk about not having any other gods before him, right? Let me throw something in real quick. The reason Yahweh makes it clear what his name is and who he is because there are many gods in this earth. Anything you worship is a god. And so he's jealous. And he says, you shall have no other gods before me. If he was the only God, why would he say, don't put no other gods before me? You need to be distinctive in what God you're talking about. We're talking about the one and only true creator of the universe. We're talking about the most high God of all gods. We are talking about Yahweh, your Elohim. God is a title. That's like saying boss. Who's the boss? He's the boss, but boss ain't his name. That's a title. The most high God. You got plenty of managers in a company, and then you have the most high manager, the CEO, right? He runs the company. But CEO ain't his name. That's a title. Yahweh your Elohim. And that's why it states it over and over. Now, I know the King James and these modern Western culture Bibles have replaced the word Yahweh with Lord. But when you read an Ethiopian Bible or Eastern ones like this one, it is the word Yahweh. I'm not replacing it. Yahweh, your God. Verse 6, I am Yahweh, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make a carved image for yourself. Any likeness of what is in the heavens above, or what is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Do you see how very specific these commandments are? These aren't vague. He's very specific about what he is commanding of you. Verse 9, you shall not bow yourself down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers on the children, on the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. You hear this? He said he is a jealous God. and anyone who makes these graven images, anyone who bows themselves down to worship these things. He said, I will visit iniquities upon your children for 4 generations. But there's something greater than that. And showing loving kindness to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. Where did we start? Did we not start in John? Where Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. That was a direct quote from the commandments themselves. Showing loving kindness to the thousands of those who love me. How do you love them? By keeping his commandments. Verse 11, you shall not misuse the name of Yahweh your Elohim, for Yahweh will not hold him guiltless who misuses his name. Obey the Sabbath day and keep it holy, as Yahweh your God commands you. You shall labor 6 days and do all your work, and you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, not any of your livestock, not even a stranger that is within your gates. Very specific. He stressed this. I don't want nothing around you not resting on my Sabbath day. Don't let nobody that work for you work on my Sabbath day. Anything within your gates, it should be resting on my holy Sabbath day. He is very specific. Verse 15, you shall remember that you were servants in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God brought you out there by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yahweh your God commands you to keep the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother, as Yahweh your God commanded you, that your days may be long, and that you may go well, and that it may go well with you in the land which Yahweh your God gives you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, your neighbor's servant, his female servant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Verse 22, Yahweh spoke these words to all your assembly on the mountain, out of the middle of a fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more. He wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. Yahweh himself came down and spoke to man out of a thick cloud of darkness. It was the most fearful thing humans could ever experience. And they had to sit there and listen to him utter each one of these words himself. And as far as we know, it is the only thing he has ever said to man as a congregation was his commandments. And then with his own finger, he wrote these commandments on 2 tablets of stone. Everything else we have and we know of him had to be regurgitated or written by a prophet or someone anointed, a human being, except one thing and one thing only, and that is these commandments. Psalms 111. Psalms 111 is fantastic. And it, wait, did I write it right? Wait a minute. No, I wrote the wrong chapter. Hold on a second. Psalms 119, sorry. Psalms 119. Fantastic. Very long. We're not going to read it all, but we're going to read a chunk here. Psalms 119, we're going to read verses 1 through 36. Blessed are those whose ways are blameless. Blessed are those whose what? Ways are what? Blameless. That means it's possible. You realize that, right? There is a belief that you're always going to fall short of Yahweh, that you're always going to be messing up. That's not true. We praise Yahweh the fact that we have an opportunity to correct when we fall short. But your sins and your shortcomings should be rare. You do know that, right? There is a high standard, and you should hold yourself to it. Blessed are those whose ways are blameless, who walk according to Yahweh's laws. Blessed are those who keep his statutes, who seek him with their whole heart. Yes, they do nothing wrong. They walk in his ways. You have commanded your precepts, that we should fully obey them. Oh, that my ways were steadfast to obey your statutes. Then I wouldn't be disappointed when I consider all of your commandments. I will give thanks to you with uprightness of heart. When I learn your righteous judgment, I will observe your statutes. Do not utterly forsake me. How can a young man keep his ways pure? By living according to your word. With my whole heart, I have sought you. Do not let me wander from your commandments. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Blessed are you, Yahweh. Teach me your statutes. With my lips, I will declare all the ordinances of your mouth. I will rejoice in the way of your testimonies as much as in all riches. I will meditate on your precepts and consider your ways. I will delight myself in your statutes. I will not forget your word. Do good to your servant, and I will live and I will obey your word. Listen to this. Open my eyes that I might see the wondrous things out of your law. You see, that's one of them keys that will unlock right there. Because it's easy to have the wrong eyesight, the wrong perception, the wrong perspective, to look at his laws as something that is burdensome, something that makes it hard. But wait a minute. Don't he clearly tell us that yoke is easy, that burden is light? Does he not say that his law is not a burden, that it is light? How do you perceive and see? See, David had understanding enough to know that he needed to pray that Yahweh open my eyes that I might see the wondrous things out your law, not the oppressive things, not the things that I think might be hard or confusing or whatever. No. Let me see it from the perception of what is wondrous out of your law, that I might gain wisdom. Verse 19, I am a stranger on the earth. Do not hide your commandments from me. My soul is consumed with longing for your ordinances at all times. You have rebuked the proud who are cursed, who wander from your commandments. Take reproach and contempt away from me, for I have kept your statutes. Though princes sit and slander me, your servant will meditate on your statutes. Do you hear this? This is understanding we're giving here. Because Jesus said, if someone slapped you on your left cheek, turn the right. David said, there are princes who are sit and slander me. But I, your servant, will meditate on your statutes. I'm not concerned with the slander that they're saying about me. I'm going to keep my focus and meditate my mind on your statutes. Keep it on you. Though princes sit and slander me, your servant will meditate on your statutes. Indeed, your statutes are my delight and my counsel. My soul is laid low in the dust. Revive me according to your word. I declare my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Let me understand the teachings of your precepts. Then I will meditate on your wondrous works. My soul is weary with sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. Keep me from the ways of deceit. Grant me your law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. I have set your ordinances before me. I cling to your statutes, Yahweh. Don't let me be disappointed. I run in the path of your commandments, for you have set my heart free. You see, when your heart is not free, when your heart is bound by this world, these are the things your heart will strive for and desire. These are the things your heart will long for. The things that you will miss, the leeks and the garlics. But David said, you set my heart free. And when a heart is set free, it only desires to please the Most High Yah. Teach me, Yahweh, the ways of your statutes. I will keep them to the end. Give me understanding, and I will keep your law. Yes, I will obey it with my whole heart. Direct me in the path of your commandments, for I delight in them. Turn your heart towards statute and not towards selfish gain. Turn my heart towards your statutes and not towards selfish gain. Let me read it one more time. Turn my heart towards your statutes and not towards selfish gain. The opposite of keeping his commandments is selfishness. I started there, and we're going to prove it. David said, turn my heart towards your statutes and not towards selfish gain. This world and its wisdom. But what does the Bible say about the wisdom of the world? What does it say? Does it not say it is foolish and is devilish? Is that not what it says? It didn't say the foolishness of the world. It said the wisdom of the world. The wisdom of the world tells you to put yourself first. Sounds wise. It is devilish because it is not what this book teaches. But when you see it from that perception, you will see it as something wrong. You will see it as something burdensome. You will see it as something heavy. It's not. It's just the way you choosing to view it. Because we all know that when you get something that you desire, it's fantastic. We all love it. 10 minutes later, the feeling's gone. The feeling's gone before the new car smell wears off. But when you see someone in need and you do everything in your power to help that individual, that feeling will last a lifetime. It's not about ourselves. We're not here to serve ourselves. And it is the devil that will put fear in your heart that make you think that if you commit your life to serving others, that somehow you're going to miss out on something. David said, I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. Jesus said, the birds of the air don't wonder where they're going to get it from. Are you not much more valuable than they? If you seek ye first his kingdom, then all these things, it's all of this coming together now. We are not here to focus on ourselves. We've been put here to serve. I'm starting to get ahead of myself a little bit. Let me back up. Hold on. Verse 36. Turn my heart towards your statutes and not towards selfish gain. Go back to John. John 15. We all want a life full of joy and peace. You know that feeling where your heart is just bursting and overflowing with happiness and joy. And your heart is just merry and you're just singing because you're just so at peace and so happy. The way you keep yourself there is about what we're talking about right now. How do you keep these commandments? We've been harping so far on this all morning about the significance, the seriousness of keeping these commandments. Not only is it the thing that is required of us, not only is it very specific in what he's teaching and saying and commanding of us, but we also see it as the key to getting into the kingdom. Bless all those who do my commandments, for they shall have rights to the tree of life. Jesus said, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. We see the significance of this. And yet the greatest gift of all that Christ gave us when he removed the bar higher, you shall not murder. Well, now you can't even have hatred in your heart. And there's more that's required of you. While there's more that is required of you, he also made it easier. John chapter 5, oh, what I say? No. John 15, verse 7. John chapter 15, verse 7. Jesus talking, if you remain in me and my word remains in you, watch this. You will ask whatever you desire, and it will be done for you. If you seek ye first his kingdom, then all these things shall be added unto you. Why? Because all those things can be given to you now because you fixed your heart first. Because if you're seeking his kingdom, you've put yourself in the right stance, your mentality, your mindset, your perception, your heart, your desires, your actions. They have all been proven that you are now trustworthy. And now anything you ask of him, he can give it to you because he can trust that when I do give it to you, you're going to use it to help somebody else anyway. But he said, whatsoever you ask, whatsoever you desire, it shall be done for you. Verse 8, in this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, and so you will be my disciples. Even as the Father has loved me, I also have loved you. Remain in my love. How do we remain in this love? If you love me, keep my commandments. If you remain in his commandments. David said the righteous, they do nothing wrong. We just read it. That's a person walking in these commandments, walking in these statutes, striving for perfection. If you fall, get back up. But you can't be out here not taking it serious, knowing you need to get some stuff right and got a mentality, oh, one day I get that right. What do you mean one day? Are you kidding me? But Jesus said, verse 9, even as my Father has loved me, I also have loved you. Remain in my love. Verse 10, if you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. Just in case you thought I made that up. There it is. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. Even as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have spoken these things to you, that my joy may remain in you. That my what? My joy may remain in you. You want his joy to be in you constantly? Then keep his commandments. You want to remain under the shadow of his protection? Then keep his commandments. You want to stay close to him? Then keep his commandments. He said, remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. It don't get no more simpler than this. Even as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. Verse 11, I have spoken these things to you, that my joy may remain in you, that your joy may be made full. Not a little bit of joy, not temporary joy, not sometimes I'm joyful, sometimes I'm sad. No. Consistency, made full, fulfilled. Verse 12, watch this. You ready? This is my command. What is it? That you love one another, even as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. Do you hear this? You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No greater love than this, than one laid down his life for his friends. In other words, the greatest burden is to sacrifice your own life for your neighbor. That is the greatest burden. He took that one on himself. And now he commands us to take on the smaller burdens of each other. Because he's done the big one. Now he's requiring it. Did he not come to be an example? I'm going to make the ultimate sacrifice for you. And all I require of you is you to make these small sacrifices for each other. No greater commandment than one lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I commanded you. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his Lord does. But I have called you friends, for everything that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you. You're not hearing this, striving the way you are, living the way you are, having the understanding you have when you are constantly surrounded by people who don't even understand a tenth of it, but you take that for granted. It's human nature. You don't realize that the reason that is because you didn't make this choice. He said, I chose you. You did not choose me. I chose you and appointed you, that you may go and bear fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatever you will ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. I command these things of you, that you may love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it has hated me before it hated you. You see, there's something, when you live in this and you keep in this, it's going to make people who don't uncomfortable. They will bring hatred towards you. It's a part of the program. But when you are overflowing with joy of Yahweh, you won't care. But when you are focused on yourself, you know what comes with that? You always want to be a people pleaser and make sure everybody around you is always happy about every little thing you do. And you want to satisfy everybody else. Now you got another God before him. Where am I at? 19, okay. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, since I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. This is a part of the package. It's also a measuring stick if you want to know the truth. Because if we're looking just like the world, acting just like the world, talking just like the world, doing everything the world do, how do you stand out? How are you alike? How are you the salt? How? How is it possible? If the world loves you, then wait a minute. This is opposite of what we're talking about, what Jesus is saying here. But when you make a commitment to serve him with your whole heart, your whole being, when every little thing about you is delighted in his ordinances and wanting to keep his commandments, everything we just read in Psalms 119, you're going to make the world uncomfortable. But that's a sign you've been chosen out of the world. He said, I chose you. You didn't choose me. Now it's your choice whether you do what I command of you. But I have called you, and there is more that I require of thee. Verse 20, remember the word that I have said to you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they will also keep yours. But they will do all these things to you for my name's sake, because they do not know him who sent me. They don't even know the Father. Mark 12. That's just the book right before this in Luke. Mark 12. Let's start at verse 28. Mark 12:28. One of the scribes came and heard them questioning together. And knowing that he had answered them well, he asked, which commandment is the greatest of all? Jesus answered, the greatest is, hear Israel, Yahweh your Elohim is one. You shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength, with everything. And when there's anything that is above him in any of these, you now have made an idol and have a god before him. This is the first commandment. Verse 31. The second is like this. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Love Yahweh with your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. This is what we are called to do. This is what we're called to live out. Verse 32. Then the scribe said to him, truly, teacher, you have said well, that he is one and there is none other but he. And to love him with all the heart and with all understanding, all the soul and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself. It is more important than all, it's more important, let me back up. With all the soul and with all the strength of the neighbor himself, it is more important than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. All your offerings, all your sacrifices, all your gifts, all your giving, all your prayers, all your praise is irrelevant if you ain't loving Yahweh with your whole being and loving your neighbor as yourself. It is the most important thing. It is what we're here for. Verse 34. When Jesus saw that he had answered wisely, he said to him, you are not far from God's kingdom. No one dared ask him any question after that. Jesus responded as he taught in the temple. How is it that the scribes say that Christ is the son of David? For David himself said in the Holy Spirit, Christ is my Lord. Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies the footstool of your feet. Therefore, David himself called him master. So how can he be the son? Galatians chapter 5. No, hold on, stop. Let me finish reading this actually. Go back to Mark. How can he be the son? Verse 37, Mark 12:37. Therefore, David himself calls him Lord. So how can he be the son? The common people heard him gladly. In his teachings, he said to them, beware of the scribes who like to walk in long robes and to get greetings in the marketplace and to get the best seats in the synagogue and the best places at the feast. Those who devour widow houses. Hold on, man. See, this wasn't even included, but we need to read this apparently. Listen, wait a minute. Verse 38. In his teachings, he said to them, beware of the scribes who like to walk in long robes and to get greetings in the marketplace, to get the best seats in the synagogue and the best places at the feast. Those who devour widows' houses and for a pretense make long prayers. These will receive a greater condemnation. Jesus sat down opposite the treasury and saw how the multitude cast money into the treasury. Many who were rich cast in much. A poor widow came and she cast in 2 small brass coins, which is equal to a quadrant coin. He called his disciples to himself and said to them, most certainly I tell you, this poor widow gave more than all those who are giving in the treasury. For they all gave out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, she gave all that she had to live on. You see, how much of a challenge and a test is it when you have plenty to give? But this woman only had 2, and she gave even the little that she had, which means she was left with nothing. And Jesus said that woman gave more than all these people combined. because they gave out of their abundance, but she gave all that she had to live on. Why is this important and significant? Because even in the moment of poverty, even in the moment of scarcity, she still put others before herself. She kept the commandments when it mattered most. And guess what? She might have walked out of that temple without anything in her pocket, but I promised you, she was not forsaken. I promised you, she didn't walk out of there having to beg for bread. Don't the Most High tell us whatever you do in secret, Yahweh will reward you openly? We have to protect ourselves from ourselves because it is our nature to be selfish. It is our nature to want to put ourselves first. It is our nature to listen to that enemy's voice that tries to tell you they don't deserve that, or they trying to take advantage of you, or you know you need to be worried about this first. Make sure you're doing this first. Get to this point and then you'll be able. That's the devil talking. And we all fall for that voice and we need to stop it. There ain't a person walking on this earth that is not guilty of listening to that voice at some point in their life. We have all fallen short of the glory of Yah, but it is his mercy and long suffering that allows us to correct it and get it right. Okay, Galatians 5. Galatians 5, I'm going to read verses 13 and 14. For you, brothers, were called for freedom. That's what we've been called for, right? We're not under the burden of the law. Christ has set us free, right? But watch this, though. For you, brother, were called to freedom. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh. You called to freedom, but that don't mean you should abuse that freedom to please your flesh, yourself, and your desires. No. But through love, be servants to one another. We've been set free so that we can go and serve one another. Because when you are bound and you are a slave and a servant, you only can serve one, your master. But when that debt has been paid and you now have been made free, not to go fulfill the desires of your own flesh. Oh no, you are now free so that you can go serve many. Let me read again, verse 13. For you, brothers, were called for freedom. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love be servants one to another. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. And then he said, how do you keep his commandments? That you might love thy neighbor as thyself. But through love be servants one to another. Verse 14. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word. In this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. James chapter 2. James 2, I'm going to start at verse 1. My brothers, don't hold the faith of our glorious Master Jesus Christ with partiality. For if a man with gold rings and fine clothing come in your synagogue, and a poor man in filthy clothes also come in, and you pay special attention to him who wears the fine clothes, and say, sit here in a good place. Bring him to the front. Sit up here on the stage. Let me stop. And you tell the poor man, stand over there or sit by my footstool. Haven't you shown partiality among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? You see, it's human nature to want to do favors and do what you call good to those who you admire or think you might can get something in return later from them. But the person who has nothing to offer you, overlook them and push them to the side when they're the ones who need you the most. Verse 4, haven't you shown partiality among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Verse 5, listen, my beloved brothers, didn't Yah choose those who are poor in this world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he promised to those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor man. Don't the rich oppress you, personally dragging you before the courts? Don't they blaspheme the honorable name by which you are called? However, if you fulfill the royal law according to the scriptures, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, then you do well. But if you show partiality, you commit sin, being convicted by the law as a transgressor. For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at one point has become guilty of all. For he who said, do not commit adultery, also said, do not commit murder. Now, if you don't commit adultery, but do murder, you have become a transgressor of the law. So speak and do as men who are to be judged by the law of freedom. For judgment is without mercy to him who have shown no mercy. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. When you sit up there and you put yourself in a position of judgment, by the way, there are some people who want to literally make themselves judges literally about every little thing everybody else is doing. But forget that nonsense. I'm talking to you. When you have an opinion in your mind and in your heart about somebody, you are making a judgment. When you see somebody that is doing something that you don't approve of or don't like, or you think they're wrong, that is called judgment. And the book don't teach us not to ever judge. No. It teaches us to judge righteously. This is about perception and how you choose to see and perceive. If you see someone falling short, rather than being harsh and having no mercy, ask yourself, what can I do to help them lift them up? That's proper. That's mercy. That's judging righteously. And guess what? As you judge, so shall you be judged. So when the moment comes for your day to come for you to fall short, you'll be met with the mercy that you've given out. Because you have chosen to walk in the commandments and have chosen to love your neighbors yourself all this time. When the time comes for you to need, guess what? You are built up in abundance and sowed good seed. And in the season of reaping and harvest, you'll have plenty to reap from. Anyway, where am I at? Verse 10. For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at one point has become guilty of all. For he said, do not commit adultery. And also, for he who said, do not commit adultery, also said, do not commit murder. Now, if you don't commit adultery, but do commit murder, you have become a transgressor of the law. So speak and so do as men who are to be judged by the law of freedom. For judgment is without mercy to him who has shown no mercy. Mercy triumphs over judgment. Mercy triumphs over judgment. Do you know how many people need to hear that? Mercy triumphs over judgment. What good is it, my brothers, if a man say he has faith, but has no works? Can he live? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and in lack of daily food, and one of you tell him, go, be in peace, be warmed and filled. I'm speaking prophecy and manifesting for you. Yet you didn't give them the thing in itself. Let me back up. Yet you didn't give them the thing the body needs. What good is it? What good is it to you to say you praying for them? Bless you, and all these other statements we like to run our mouth about. And you know they have a need. And you have it in your power to fulfill that need. You walking in faith, but you ain't got no works. These are the works he's talking about. Let me back up. Let me read this one more time. Verse 14. What good is it, my brother, if a man says he has faith, but has no works, can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and in lack of daily food, and one of you tells them, go in peace, be warmed and filled, yet you did not give them the thing the body need, what good is it? Verse 17, even so faith, if it has no works, is dead in itself. Yes, a man will say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You see that woman who only had them 2 brass coins? She had faith. And she proved that she had faith that no matter what, y'all gonna take care of her by her works. Verse 19, you believe that Yahweh is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. Oh, I believe Christ died for my sins. I believe in God. I believe in God. Everybody wants to put that on a pedestal. He said, man, the devils even do that. Verse 20. But do you want to know, vain man, what faith apart from works? It is dead. Wasn't Abraham our father justified by his works, in that he offered up Isaac, his son, on the altar? Abraham himself is known as the father of faith. And Abraham proved that he was a man of faith by being willing to sacrifice his only begotten son and putting him on that altar. You see that faith worked with his works. And by works, faith is perfected. Your faith is perfected by you walking in these statutes and keeping these commandments. This is what David was talking about in Psalms 119. So, the scripture was fulfilled, which says Abraham believed Yah, and it was accounted to him as righteousness. And he was called a friend of Yahweh. Didn't Jesus just say, I no longer see you as servants, but as friends? Abraham was the very first friend of Yah. And now Abraham's seed is now made friends of Yah. How? If you remain in his love and keep his commandments. You see then that by works a man is justified and not by faith. There's a lot of people running their mouth telling you the opposite. They're wrong. The book says a man is justified by his works. And not only by faith. Yeah, you got to have faith. Faith's a big part of it. Faith is the reason you're willing to love your neighbor as yourself. Faith is what is required for you to make great sacrifices. Faith is what is required of you when you see someone in need and you need a little bit too, and it's tough to give it. That's faith. But the action itself is the work that must be accompanied with the faith. Verse 24, you see then that by works a man is justified and not only by faith. In the same way, wasn't Rahab, the prostitute, also justified by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way? For as the body apart from the spirit is dead, so is faith apart. So is faith apart from works is dead. Your body without your spirit in it is dead. It will decay, rotten, stinking, and go to the dirt. James say, so is your so-called faith if you not keeping these commandments, if you not doing the work. What work did he give us as examples just now? You see a brother naked without food. You gonna have faith and say, I'm gonna pray for you and prophesy and say, go warm and be filled. What good is that? And you didn't give it to him. You gotta have faith and works. And that works is the keeping of these commandments. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. If you think that's a stretch, I'm gonna prove it. Don't worry, we'll get there. Romans 15. You see, Romans 15 makes sense now. This is a chapter that's heavily debated amongst the religious. It ain't complicated when you put it in this type of context. Romans chapter 15. I'm going to read 1 through 7. Now, we who are strong ought to bear the weakness of the weak. Don't the book tell us to bear one another's burdens? This is what is required of us. We are defining the commandment, keeping the commandments. Now, we who are strong ought to bear the weakness of the weak, the burdens of the weak, and not to please ourselves. You hear this? We who are strong ought to bear the weakness of the weak and not to please ourselves. Let each one of us please his neighbor for that which is good, to be building him up. For even Christ did not please himself. But as it is written, the reproach of those who reproached you fell on me. For whatever things were written before were written for our learning, that through preservation and through encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. Now that Yahweh, Now that Yahweh preservations and of encouragement grant you to be of the same mind with one another according to Christ Jesus, that with one accord you may with one mouth glorify Yahweh, your Father, our Master, Jesus Christ. Therefore, accept one another, even as Christ also accepted you, to be the glory of Yah. Anyway, like I was saying earlier, Christ bared the biggest burden of all. You know, he starts this by saying we should bear the weakness of the weak, not to please ourselves. Let each one of us please his neighbor for that which is good in the building of him up. Verse 3, for even Christ did not please himself. You see, Christ ain't requiring nothing of us that he ain't already done and committed, right? Yeah, I just realized if I had turned that on, it would have drowned out that sound. I'll rock with it. I don't want to mess it up. But Christ himself bared the biggest burden of all. His life was a sacrifice for us. Therefore, we are commanded to bear the smaller burdens of one another. And we are all strong and weak in different areas. So when it says you who are strong ought to bear the weakness of the weak, that is talking to every one of us. We should work, and then it goes on to talk about how we should say the same thing with one mouth and one accord. And why? Because we are one body, right? As 1 Corinthians 10:24 states, let no one seek his own, but the good of his neighbor. That's 1 Corinthians 10:24. Go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 12. It's right there. It's the next book. 1 Corinthians 12, we're going to start at verse 12. Okay, 1 Corinthians 12:12. For as the body is one and has many members, and all of the members of the body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For in one spirit we were all baptized into one body, whether Jew or Greek, whether bond or free, and we're all given to drink into one spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot would say, because I am not the hand, I am not a part of the body, it is not therefore not part of the body. If the ear would say, because I'm not the eye, I am not a part of the body, it's not therefore not part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? See, this is what we're talking about. Those of us are strong are to bear the burdens of the weak. But when you are comparing yourself constantly, because this is what the enemy do. He gets in your mind and you doing something, you bearing a burden. What's the first thing you hear in your mind? How come it's just me? Why I got to do it? And then you start judging everybody according to your works, if they are living up to and doing as much as you are or more than you or whatever. You see what I'm saying? This is nonsense. You doing this, you are called in this moment to be the hand. And you wonder why the ear ain't picking stuff up. But if the ear should do as much as the hand do, where would the hearing come from? You the one that's called to be the eye and to give of this body sight. But you so consumed with what the knee doing, the knee ain't saw nothing in 6 years. That ain't the knee job. You thinking about you and not loving thy neighbor as thy sight. Let me do the best I can do being the eye to see so this knee don't run into the table no more. That's the way it should be. Verse 17, if the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were hearing, where would the smell be? But now Yah has set the members, each one of them in the body, just as he desired. The thing that you are doing that is fulfilling the will of Christ, that is keeping the commandments, might look slightly different than what the next person is doing. But this is where Yah put you and what he desires of you. And guess what? It's often going to test you multiple times, because how would you exercise faith if it wasn't a test? But when your eyes perceive wrong, and you start comparing yourself amongst yourself. Don't the book teach against that? The key to being full of joy is not to compare yourself amongst yourself. But look, verse 18. But now Yahweh has set the members, each one of them in the body, just as he desired. The role that you are playing in this body is where he put you. Don't complain about it. Don't look at everybody else and wonder why you having to do this. That's what he desired of you. Verse 19, if they were all one member, where would the body be? But now they are many members, but one body. The eye can't tell the hand, I have no need for you. Or again, the head of the feet, I have no need for you. In other words, you know what? Hey, hand, eye here. You know, for quite some time now, I've been putting you first, hand. You know, I've been making sure you grab the right thing and don't touch hot stoves. But, you know, now it's time for me to think about me. You know, I'm going to start seeing for myself. Because, I've been putting everybody else before me. And now I need to take care of me. You know, they say in an airplane, you got to put your mask on first. Wisdom of the world. Foolishness. The only reason you have sight is to make sure the hand ain't grabbing the stove. You ain't got it for no other reason but to serve one another, not yourself. Verse 22. No, much rather, those members of the body which seem to be weaker are necessary. They are necessary. Those members of the body that seem to be weaker than you, it's a necessity. Don't look at it from the perception of him being burdensome. Look at it as an opportunity for me to serve Yahweh. I am building up my crowns in the kingdom. I am storing my treasure in heaven. How? By serving my brother, by serving my sister, by taking advantage of this blessing that Yahweh has given me, which is an opportunity to help someone weaker than me. Verse 23, those parts of the body which we think to be less honorable, on those we bestow more abundant honor. You hear that? The people that you think are less honorable, them the ones you should put abundant honor upon. Then the book say, didn't Jesus say, in the kingdom, the last shall be first and the first shall be last? See, we need to correct our mentality. We need the spirit. We need a renewed mind because we see everything backwards. Why? Because the wisdom of this world is foolishness. It is earthly. It is devilish. And our unpresentable parts as more abundant modestly. Verse 24, while our presentable parts have no such need, but Yahweh composed the body together, giving more abundant honor to the inferior parts. He said, I chose you because you were the least amongst all people. And then you look amongst God's children and you see the least of them and you see them as a burden. You see them as a problem. You put harsh judgment towards them because your perception is off. Verse 25, that there should be no division in the body. Their weakness and their moments of weakness that you are perceiving as burdensome, they ain't the ones causing division of the body. You are. That there should be no division in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. When one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. No. See, the eye for the last 12 years has been seeing for everybody else. I'm going to stop seeing for the rest of the body. Them toes just going to have to stump them tables for a while and learn them on its own. Them hands just going to have to touch them hot stoves. It's going to have to learn on its own because I ain't seeing for them no more. But when that hand touch that stove and get burnt, you're going to feel it too, eye. Because when one member of the body suffers, we all suffer. When one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Verse 27. Now you are the body of Christ and the members individually. Imagine the eye standing before Christ. And Christ say, you started well, but you got off course. You start thinking about yourself. Well, Jesus, I just had to start seeing for me. But I commanded you to love the hand as yourself. I commanded you to love the foot as yourself, the ankle, the knee, the elbow. That's what I told you to do. I didn't say love yourself. I said love your neighbor as yourself. This is his commandment. Verse 27, now if you are the body of Christ, and let me back up. 26, when one member suffers, all members suffer with it. And when one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Verse 27, now you are the body of Christ and members individually. You might be the eye. You might be the nail on the left thumb, but you are a part of Christ's body. He is the head. We are the body. And we got the audacity to say, I don't feel like functioning in this body. Christ said, you know what? I'm trying to get this body into the kingdom. But since that left toe is offending me, I'm going to cut it off. You see this? For it's better to go into the kingdom one toe short than the whole body to be cast in hell. You get it? Verse 28. Well, I was going to 27. I'm stopping there. All right. Y'all ready for the conclusion of the whole matter? You ready to drive this point home? You ready to make it undisputably obvious now? You ready? Matthew 25. Matthew 25. I'm going to read one more time. Revelations 22:14, what we read in the beginning. And then we're going to read Matthew 5. Watch this. Revelations 22, verse 14. Blessed are those who do his commandments, for they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter into the gates of the city. Outside are dogs, sorcerers, sexual immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices lies. Blessed are those who do his commandments, for they shall have right to the tree of life and enter in the gates of the city, right? Now watch this. Matthew 25, verse 1. This is Jesus talking. Gonna give us some beautiful parables. You ready? Then the kingdom of heaven. What are we talking about? What's the subject? The kingdom of heaven. That same kingdom we just read, those who do the commandments have rights to it, right? Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, 5 were wise. Those who were foolish, when they took their lamps, took no oil with them. These are the people that's all full of that faith, but they ain't got no works. You see this? They full of that faith. They showed up. They are brides, ready to be married to the bridegroom. Who's the bridegroom? Is it not Christ? These ain't people of the world. These are brides, ready to waiting on the coming of the bridegroom. 5 of them had no oil. Verse 3, those who were foolish, when they took their lamps, they took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. When the bridegroom delayed, they all slumbered and slept. But at midnight, there was a cry. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. That's the sound of that trumpet. Come out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, what if there isn't enough for us and you? You go rather to those who sell and buy for yourself. While they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Afterwards, the other virgins came, saying, Master, Master, open to us. But he answered, most certainly I tell you, I don't know you. Watch therefore, for you do not know the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. For it is like a man going into another country, who called his servants and entrusted his goods with them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to do according to his own ability. Then he went on his journey. So some members of this body got 5 talents. Some got 2, some got 1. Imagine the one with 5 looking at the one as if you are the weak burden. Watch this. Verse 16, immediately he who received 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5 talents. He put it to work. He doing the works, multiplying. Behold, I have gained another 5 talents in addition with them. Verse 21, his Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will set you over many things. You see, if we seek ye first his kingdom, then all these things shall be added unto you. Whatsoever you ask in my name and desire, that will I do. This is that. Show me that you are faithful in what I command of you, and then I'll give you plenty more. Where am I at? Verse what? I'm at 16 again. Immediately, he who received 5 talents went and traded with them and made 5 talents. Verse 17, in the same way, he also gave 2 talents to another 2. Verse 18, and he who received 1 talent went away and dug in the earth and hid his Lord's money. You hear this? The one with the 1 talent, he didn't go and multiply it. He just sat on it, didn't do nothing with it. Didn't put no work forth to multiply his master's money. Watch this, verse 19. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. He who received 5 talents came and brought another 5, saying, Master, you delivered me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained another 5 talents in addition to them. His master said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will set you over many things. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had got 2 talents, came in and said, Master, You delivered to me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained another 2 talents in addition to them. His master said to him, well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will set you over many things. Enter into the joy of your master. What did we read earlier of how to enter into the joy of Christ? Was it not keeping his commandments? Watch this. 24. He also, who had received 1 talent, came and said, Master, I knew you were a hard man, reaping where you did not sow. Different perspective, different perception. He's seeing things differently than the first 2, right? You were a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter. I was afraid, and I went away and hid your talent in the earth. Behold, you have what is yours. In other words, I didn't steal the talent. I didn't keep the talent. I ain't going to spend the talent. I'm going to give it right back to you. See, you've been given the Holy Spirit. What you doing with it, though? When he come back and you meet him, is the Spirit going to be the same as he gave it to you? Or did you multiply and increase it? Verse 26. But his master answered, you wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reaped where I did not sow. He didn't call the man a lie. And gathered where I did not scatter. Why? Because I required that of you. I told you to go out and make disciples of men. I told you to go out and be the light unto the Gentiles. I told you to go out and be the salt of the earth. I told you to go out and love thy neighbors thyself. Watch this. Verse 27. You ought therefore to have deposited my money with the banks, and at my coming I should receive back my own with interest. Take away therefore the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even that which he has will be taken away from him. Throw out the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne with his glory. Before him, all nations will be gathered, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goat. He will set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left. Then the king will tell those on his right hand, come, blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom. Stop. Do you know why I went and read Revelation 22:14? What did it say? Blessed are they who do his commandments, for they shall have rights to the tree of life and enter into the gates of the city and in the kingdom, right? Now watch this. Then he said, verse 34, then the king will tell those on his right hand, come, blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared from you from the foundations of the world. For I was hungry, and you didn't say, I'm going to pray that you get some food. Nope. What did he say? I was hungry, and you gave me food. Works. You gave me food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you drink? When did we see you as a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and came to you? The king will answer them, most certainly I tell you, because you did it to the least, the less, the weaker. You did it to the least of these, my brothers. You did it to me. You see, you can't serve Yahweh without serving one another. Verse 41. Then he will say to those on his left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire, which is prepared for the devils and his angels. Do you realize that punishment is so bad? It was designed for the devil and his angels. It wasn't designed for humans. And yet humans will partake in it. For all eternity will burn in the lake of fire. For all eternity. That means 1 trillion years from now, it'll be like day one. Nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody wants to have that punishment, right? Well, let's find out what did they do or didn't do to receive such a judgment. Verse 42. For I was hungry and you did not give me food to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. Didn't we just read in James? If a brother have a need, he is naked and hungry, and you say, go be warmed and filled, and you didn't give it to him, just as the body is dead without the spirit, so is your faith without the works. Verse 42, for I was hungry and you did not give me food. I was thirsty and you did not give me drink. I was a stranger and you did not take me in, naked and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison and you did not visit me. And then they will say and answer saying, Master, notice who I was referring to him. Master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not help you? Then he will answer them saying, most certainly I tell you, because you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. These will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. I hope we learn something. I hope we take it to heart. I hope we meditate on it. And more importantly, I hope we live it out. Bonus, something to consider for next week. Something to meditate on this week other than this message. And by the way, the one we did last time and this one, I'll try to have them both up by the end of the day. But these commandments and keeping these commandments, they're very specific. We read them earlier. Christ came and he raised the bar a little bit, but he also made it easier. It's all about serving one another. That's how we keep the commandments, right? The one commandment in the 10 commandments that he gave the most instruction for was that Sabbath day. If it be the Father's will, we'll talk about this next Sabbath. We'll see. Nevertheless, it's good to meditate on it. Bonus topic for commandment. We're going to read one thing, Isaiah 58. We're going to read Isaiah 58, verse 13 through 14, and we're done for something to prepare for next week, possibly. We'll see. Who knows? Honestly, I thought this morning this was going to be the subject, and it just ended up being about the commandments as a whole. When we was reading the commandments, he talked heavily about that Sabbath day. He talked about not doing no work. You, your son, your daughter, your man slave, your female slave, your ox, your cattle, your ass, everything got to keep this commandment. The ass in the field need to keep the commandment. No strangers within your gates, all of it. Your whole land and everything that you possess should rest. Isaiah 58, verses 13 through 14. Watch this. Not 58, 50. Yeah, 58. I'm on 53. I'm tripping. Okay, here we go. Isaiah 58, verse 13. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your own pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, and the holy of Yahweh honorable, and honor it, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then you will delight yourself in Yahweh. And I will make you ride on the high places of the earth, and I will feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father, For Yahweh's mouth has spoken it. We ain't gonna talk about it. Meditate on that this week. And if it be the Father will, we'll talk more about that next week. And we're done.